People think that when we use, for example, a vertical line, help to make slim the body. It's not true. It's true just in case when you have this stripes, so it's like a complete or a top, blouse or skirt, pants in general for all the styles. When you have these stripes very thin, very thin and close one by one. So when you have the stripe and the texture of stripes very thin and close to the other one in that way, their vertical line help to make thin the figure. In all other cases, in a vertical way, when you have more wide has the stripe and more far or close to one but wide stripes, make larger the figure. So the vertical line in this case doesn't help to make longer the part that you're wearing with this kind of style. The horizontal line you can use just in case when you have no problem of types in the upper part or in the lower part of the body, and when you have to add volume in this part of the body, or to balance the image with, for example, big hips with a trapezio skirt, or you need something to add volume. You can choose, for example, C-style with stripes in blue and white to open here to give volume. You know, in this case, it's right to do in this way. But when in the other case, when you have to hide problem and you have to use the technique of camouflage, in the case of square, in the case of apple, and so you have volume of breast, of belly or something, and you want, and the client, or you want to use the stripe, you have to remember to use the diagonal line. The diagonal line has 2 points of focus, one up and one down. These 2 focus guide the eyes of the people that look to you to have the sensation of go outside from the center of the point. So in this way you will feel the sensation of length and open the figure in this case, and so get more longer the situation that you can have under these stripes, and so you will feel the sensation of the body more slimmer. When you choose, for example, the stripes that go together, for example, they're connected like in a V style, in black or white, we can imagine Diane von Furstenberg, they've done something like this, or Givenchy or Marni, they've done a lot of styles with this kind of things. Remember that when you choose the stripes that connecting together in a V like this, you will open in the upper part, so you give length in the to the upper part of the length. If instead you choose the stripes line in this way that repeat together, you will go in the down part of the outfit, so the down part of the length, and so you will put the length in the down part. So if you want to have something more up, choose something like this. If you want to have more length for the legs, for example, choose the opposite way. So this stripe always diagonal, because it's always 2 diagonal that close together, help to make 2 different points of focus and help to get more longer the figure or shorter the figure. It depends how to use it. Talking about another texture that we can have to use, for example, in our combination of outfit and things for identity concept, is the check. The check, like Prince of Galles, it's more classical, or tartan, for example, the most useful and identifiable kind of check. We have to choose the proportion of these 2 kinds of check connection with the shape that we have to wear. So when we choose, for example, the macro check, macro Prince of Wales, macro Prince of Galles, macro tartan, we make bigger this part and we add volume and we open this part on this situation that we are wearing on. So if we have to cover it and we have to hide, it's better always to choose a small check, small and close together check. In this way you will feel, yes, the sensation of the check and traditional English things, texture, but you will feel the sensation of closed volume and not open volume. all the texture, all the prints, like prints of walls, like pois, macro pois, micro pois, flowers, macro flowers, micro flowers, stripes, always diagonal, macro stripes, micro stripes. When you have macro, you get volume, and you add volume in each part of the outfit that you use. So remember where I can or where I can't, or where it's possible or where it's not possible. If you want to choose to use it because you like, because the client like the prints, macro, micro prints, remember always to suggest to use the micro prints, micro check, micro stripes, diagonal, micro flowers, micro pois, because like this you will have the sensation of the texture, but closed, and you don't add volume to the part where you're wearing on with this kind of texture to the outfit that you are working on. When you decide to work with these optical elements like pois, for example, or stripes or check, but in general when you work with black and white, if you have the base white with the pois or the check or the stripes in black, more or thin, you will add volume because the base is clear, and so you have a white base to start to create something. If you choose, for example, instead black base, and so you hide volume with white elements that makes the point, the pois or the stripes or the checks, you can lose volume. Depends always from the size of the point. You lose volume if you have black base with small white pois, black base with small check white. In this way, you don't add volume, you have the texture, you have the prints, but you don't add volume in this case. Talking about texture, and when we decided to work on a concept and to work with different identity of, for example, prints, or to combine, for example, different meaning like animalier with geometric prints or geometric lines and things, it's possible to do, but when you work in a same concept of tones of color. If you, for example, if you have in the upper part of the outfit a print in animalier with the tones of brown, beige and nude color, and you want, for example, to use for the lower part of the outfit pants in pois, you can do that. But you have to choose the same family tones of color. So, for example, a pants brown with tones of pois in beige that combine together the atmosphere of the tones of color, and it works well. You can use the same texture, the same prints, for example, macro prints and micro prints, on the same family of prints, so flowers with flowers, different prints but same family. But when you choose, and always work with the same tones of color. Don't mix, for example, white and red prints in flowers with black and white prints of flowers, because go in contradiction together and it doesn't work, and you make very dirty image of the outfit. So mix, okay, the image of the texture, the image of the print, the same print, macro, micro, or different one, but remember always to use the same atmosphere or color. You work with gray, tones of gray and white, same tones of gray or white, and in this way. Black and gray, not mixed together. Just the accessorize, for example, belt, some details on the shoes, or the bag, or the nail polish, or the lipstick, why not, or the earrings, can have a bright color. For example, in a total gray and white outfit, we can choose a red Louboutin polish with red lipstick, and the soles of the shoes Louboutin red will be perfect. And you can have different prints that working together, but in the same tones of color, just underlined with this touch of blue.